Welcome back, everybody. I just had to film a quick intro to explain what's going on in the video because I forgot to do it this day of. Last year, right before the winter, I got my engine installed, hooked up all the wiring, vacuum lines, all that good stuff, and I tried to start it. Nothing was happening. Just turning over, nothing at all. I walked around the car and I noticed the exhaust. There was a giant pile of mouse nests because in the years it had been sitting, they decided to make that their home. And it was completely clogged, so I unhooked the exhaust. Still wouldn't start. So what I'm going to do in this video is check my fuel pressure, make sure I'm getting actual good fuel to the cylinders, because the spark plugs looked awfully dry after I was trying to start it before the winter. But that's basically it, so let's get into the video. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. Hello, and welcome back to the Woeful Garage. It's spring, it's warm, the weather is good, and it's time to get back to work on this car. Got the engine installed before winter, but we never got it started. Fuel that's in it was bad, it was old, it was sitting in there for 10 years. Off camera, I pulled all the injectors, ran them through with this cleaning kit, which basically consists of a little electronic device which fires off your injector, as well as this little spout. So you just take some carb cleaner and it shoots up through this spout, and then you put the injector on there. It cleans it right out. Also lets you see if it's leaking, how the spray pattern is. So I checked all 8 of my injectors from the new used motor and the blown motor. 7 out of 8 were definitely good. I could not get the 8th one to fire, so that one's set aside. But I've since reinstalled 4 of the good ones. The 4 good ones are back in. I took off the whole fuel rail, cleaned that out. I ran a bunch of fuel out of the feed line for the fuel rail, just to check the condition of that. It all looked good, no bits of rust in it or anything. It was kind of old looking, very yellow, a little varnishy, but it looked like it should still fire. Today I'm here, I got a compression gauge set, because I bought this motor used. I don't know if it's actually good or not, so I just want to verify that. I also got a fuel pressure test kit, because the pump, this car has 2 pumps. The one in the tank, it's probably rusted, and the one underneath, who knows. So we're gonna do a little fuel pressure test, check the compression. I've checked the timing. I'm ready to use my fuel pressure test kit, determine that we have adequate fuel pressure or not. So how I'm gonna do that, first of all, here's the kit. I'm going to take the Schrader valve, install it on my fuel rail, hook up this gauge. Let's do that now. Okay, on this particular car, Merkur XR4TI, the Schrader valve is going to be right down here behind the intake. Alright, got that hooked on. Let's go get the gauge. Is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah, but I mean,
I would if I could, but I ain't got no money for that.
I was on the verge of it. Found out that the batteries, lucky if they last 20 minutes set.
That's 20 minutes. Alright. I am ready to check my fuel pressure. So the first thing I need to do, now that I've got this pressure gauge connected onto the Schrader valve of the fuel rail, which the fuel rail is right down here, comes across, And then what I need to do is remove this fuel pump relay And on the Merkur, it's going to be the second spot from the top on the right. Pull that out. You're going to need a jumper wire. And we're going to put this in too. If you're looking at it from the side of the car, it's going to be the left pin. Alright, left pin's in. Now if your alternator is installed, this wire is going to run to the alternator. And we're going to ground this pin to this alternator bracket. When we ground this pin, the leftmost pin of the fuel pump relay, to this alternator wire, again my alternator is gone, we should see 30 to 40 psi on this gauge here. So let's check for that now. First things first, grab my jumper, ground it to this alternator wire, hear the pump kick on, check my pressure gauge, building fast, and that is just above 40 right there. My uninsulated jumper is getting a little warm. Okay, so now I'm going to check our gauge, and it is still holding just under 40 psi now, so our fuel pressure is looking good. And now we can do a flow test, which what we'll do is release the pressure from this gauge, and it's just going to flow fuel down here into my little overflow bucket. I do not have a way to measure that because I don't have a graduated container, but let's just take a look and see how it flows. I don't know that that's 7.5 ounces, but it's something. Guess I'm gonna try and crank it, see if it fires off or what.
Oh shit! Oh baby!
Oh baby! Oh baby! Oh baby! Woo! Downpipe, turbo. Ooh baby! Oh baby! Oh baby! No way! Look at this! Got an oil leak on the top of the turbo. Ooh! I got no radiator, no alternator. Who cares? Ooh baby! Alright, one more. See if we can get her to go again. Holy crap. Can't believe it. Well, she's alive. She is alive. Oh man. Didn't want to rev up, but oh man, she's alive. Alright, well now that I got my car running, I have to reinstall a new radiator and fan. And the bracket is broken off on one side, the nut rather. So I re-welded it last year, but I don't know what I was thinking because I put the placement where it was before, and this radiator is not the same size as the stock one. So here is the non-broken bracket. I got that hooked up. This car had an impact on this side, so not everything is as straight as it once was. So I reinstalled this nut. I welded this nut on this side where the old one was, but it doesn't reach with my radiator because we're hitting the condenser. Now I'm gonna have to grind off that nut, drill a hole, and re-weld a new nut further back. Alright, got the old nut ground off. Got some paint cleared away to drill a hole for the new nut. We'll be good to go. The old hole plug now. Right here. I got a new hole drilled. There. I just gotta get a nut on it and weld that nut in place. Alright, what I need to do is weld this nut to the bottom of my car. That way this bolt can thread into it, hold up the radiator. Now, to hold this nut in place, what I've done is dropped another nut in the frame rail here over top of the hole that I drilled, and then I placed this old nut on the bolt to protect it. So now I'm just going to thread the nut I need to weld onto this bolt, and then thread that into the nut in the frame rail, and then this will be held in place for me to weld. Alright, got both nuts in place. Time to do some welding. Okay, I got the bottom of my radiator mounted on both sides. Now I just need to work away out to mount the top. For reference, here's what the bottom looks like now. And I bought a bag of universal brackets from Amazon. Bunch of stuff in here. I'm gonna see what I can work out from all of this. Let's see what we got. Now I just searched for like radiator mounting bracket or something like that. And this would have been one of the first results I saw. And I decided, what the heck, why not? Let's give it a go. Alright, looks like we got some little rubber grommeted straps. We got some random old brackets, lots of washers, some self-tappers, and a few nuts and bolts. Let's see what we can come up with. Alright, you're not gonna be proud of me, but I zip tied in my radiator, top anyway, just for now. Not permanent. It's not permanent. I also zip tied the fan in. Not permanent. We got some clearance issues. I think it's gonna be alright, but boy, it's that crank pulley. Like I said, this car had an accident, so everything's kind of pushed back a little bit. Well, I'm gonna have to work out a way to get this straight again though, because my bumper cover is not gonna go in. The whole bumper actually. And this fan does not spin because it's crushed. So I filled up my coolant system with water just to test it for leaks, make sure nothing blew off or anything. And it seems to be working well. Here's a special coolant line my uncle made for me out of copper. Still got water in the tank here, so I think she's about full. And like I said, I'm excited to get it back on the road. She started one more time for y'all, mainly for me, but you know, I'll get it on camera. Right. Timing definitely could use some work. I'll have to come back with a timing light. And we'll go from there. I love it.